You're technically the newest AD in the America East. How have the first few months on the job at Maine been?
Yeah, they've been great. I think one of the really great selling points from my perspective coming in was Maine sold high on people, and the people have been fantastic, and that's really the bedrock for what we have going on. So I've been really pleased with that, and I think really well. You should probably ask someone else how they think the first few months have been. They'd probably be better able to evaluate that. But again, just kind of getting to connect with the people as is the high point has been really great so far.
You came from Miami University, worked your way up the staff there. How have you gone about trying to figure out what the culture is at Maine, and then the best way to help push that culture forward into your experience as an AD?
Yeah, I think there's a couple pieces. So one, I have to give a lot of credit to the folks at the university, whether it's President Joan Mundy, the president's cabinet, the athletic staff, or even CSA who did the search. They really accurately described the DNA of Maine in the process and some of the challenges and opportunities with the job. So that really helped give me a foundation kind of moving forward with it about where we needed to look. So I would tell you, I think the biggest piece has been, and you hear this a lot, and it's true, the listening and learning. I've met with every single dean. I've met with everyone on the president's cabinet. I haven't met with everyone in the athletic department, but I've probably conducted about 100 one-on-one meetings between student athletes and athletic department employees. So all those things have given me a better basis for where I think we need to head. I would say collectively the biggest piece is we need to get focused on one mission, one vision. So all of us understanding what that is and agreeing to that will help us catapult forward, which means that everyone's going to have to chip in and sacrifice a little bit for maybe what they want for their program or for their unit. But I think that's the biggest piece, is getting focused on one mission, one vision, so we can all be in alignment about where we're headed.
What has it been like for you to get to know a completely new student athlete base and figure out the ways that you can help them achieve the greatest successes on the field of play, whatever that may be, and off it as well?
To me, getting to know our young people is the best part of the job, right? So, and that's what inspires me to be on a college campus every day, is this is who we work for and who we serve ultimately. So, a lot of the meetings that I talked about, I've probably met one-on-one with 20, 30, 35 student athletes, and just hearing their stories and getting to know them as people is pretty inspiring. But I think that's going to help us. It'll help us do our work better moving forward too. Just in the sense of, what do you like about your experience here? What could be better? What areas are we really focused on, that you're enjoying? Or what's your major? How are we preparing you for life afterwards? So I think those connections are really, really important to how we're trying to actually support our students, and giving them a voice in the process is important to that as well.
Your first summer meetings here, how have these meetings gone over this time so far, and what have you enjoyed about getting to know all the different athletic directors in the conference?
Yeah, I think everyone brings a different perspective, right? And it's not just about the school that you work at now, but where have you been? What other things have you seen? And so to me, it's just the open dialogue and the exchange of ideas. I'm learning about all these things at the same time, and there's some other people in the room that are too. But I think that's the key part to me, is just having that open dialogue, the opportunity to hear someone's feedback and understand where they're coming from. And I do think it's been a really receptive group as a whole, the ADs in the room. Certainly the America East staff has been great too, just very helpful and accommodating and trying to say, hey, how can we all be better, which is really our push ultimately.
You got to experience Maine's, the final championship of 22-23, going to baseball, watching the Black Bears take it on Binghamton's field. They were hosting the whole tournament. What was that experience for you, getting to see a conference championship here in just your first few months on the job, and then the way that program was just so successful this year? Yeah,
well, there's a couple pieces of that puzzle. One, winning is hard, right? So I think you have to appreciate that on any level when it takes place. Two, I was incredibly happy for Coach Durba and for our student athletes. They put in a lot of hard work, not just this year, but in the years leading up to this. So to see them rewarded for that, to have some sort of culminating piece was really fantastic. So I got to enjoy and share pride in that success. I certainly had nothing to do with it. My running joke throughout the process of the season was, everyone's like, oh, great job with baseball, great year. And I said, look, eating cookies in the press box is really tough. Again, all credit to Nick and his support staff and coaches and our student athletes. What was really impressive to me was they played from the front the whole year. Everyone was chasing the whole year, and they just never took their foot off the gas. So it was a lot of fun to be a part of, and energizing, and frankly, that carried over and has carried over into some of our other sports as well. Everyone sees that momentum. So yeah, just a lot of fun to be a part of winning. That's for sure.